Oh, that's embarrassing. How are
No
you
problem,
guys? Can
man.
you hear us? Can you see us?
Yeah, just give us a quick feedback, maybe real quick, so that we can make this the best experience.
Kunal said yes.
Yo, let's go,
Ashtush said
guys.
yeah, bro. Johnny said yes. Nice.
Amazing.
Okay, we are good.
All right, I feel like those are like
Let's
new
wait five
names.
minutes.
Yeah,
Just wait
okay.
extra 5 minutes. Maybe we have more people wants to come.
But in that meantime, you can just write in the chat real quick what you would like to discuss maybe today, or if you would like to receive any feedback or help with a project that you have right now. If not, I would just go over a little quick breakdown and tutorial.
Sure.
I did this maybe, I think I did this a couple months ago already, but since I think we have a lot of new members, I think it will be alright, so that's what I was planning today. My profile impression worked on Linus feedback with visual identity. Oh, that's very nice. That's very,
Hmm.
very nice.
Nice.
Did it work? Did you got like, did you see results in your views?
Have you applied his feedback yet or not yet, Johnny? Johnny,
He's probably typing right now, so.
probably yeah.
Someone wants to join the call.
No, 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 no,
Why not?
no, 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 no,
Not in the moment.
no, no, not at the moment.
All right, maybe we will do this later. If you have like a specific question, just drop it down in the chat. There's a live stream chat, and if we feel like it's better to discuss it here with video, then we can let you in. But otherwise,
Yeah, at the end of the call, we can have like section of Q&A and maybe have some questions. You can either type it or you can join the call. But yeah, we just need to make sure like we stick to the schedule and all that stuff. So yeah. CE said no, just pictures or reels. When they click on my profile, first impression click. That's it. Okay.
what did you mean with that
Can you
exactly?
explain more, please? CE.
Like what's your question? Ah, you're John.
Oh, I'm
All right.
I'm.
Your name changed. All right. That's crazy. Oh man.
Oh my god,
No, not
bro,
okay.
don't mess with me like that. Okay, let's start now, and then after you finish the breakdown, we
All
can
right.
go to all the stuff.
All right. All right. All right. So guys,
Oh, okay. He wanted to explain to us in a call.
nah, that he's John. All right, I understand.
Okay, just wait for us. Let's finish the breakdown, and then you can let in.
Yeah.
We
All
can
right.
let you in, and then yeah, explain.
Let's do that. All right. So I did this tutorial. I think like two months ago. I think when we start the session, the session just started. Yeah, we are starting now. I'm just making a quick breakdown, and then we can just answer your questions. So I'm just showing my, or I'm going to share my screen real quick. I've seen this animation and I wanted to recreate it. Thought it was really cool. So because there are no really good or not enough good DaVinci Resolve tutorials, I just thought I wanted to recreate this animation. I think it's really smooth. It's really cool. It's from Mo Visuals, to give him the credits real quick. And yeah, I think it has a really unique look. I really like this texture from the dollar bill in the background. So yeah, let's just jump right into Fusion, and then in the end we're going to discuss how we can spice this scene up a little bit, because as you can see, this is the original one and this is the final look. Alright, so first of all we have our Fusion composition. You can access, or if you want to start with your new Fusion composition, you can just click on effects, then you can go to effects and you can click on this little magnifying glass icon and type in Fusion Comp, and for me it was instantly there or here because I highlighted it so that I can see it every time, and it will be always clipped to the top of this search bar or of this effects thingy, and then you can just drag and drop it into your comp. and then we will just jump right into Fusion, and as you can see, we have a couple of nodes going on here. But don't worry, guys. It's very simple actually. If you've understand it once, you can recreate everything you want, and it's actually not as difficult as it looks like. All right. So first of all, what I did was adding my 3D parts, because in DaVinci Resolve you can't just add 3D camera movement or 3D scenes in general without putting your 2D information into 3D space, because you need to just, or because it's just not possible. So you need to convert your 2D information into 3D space and then back into 2D, which is your media out and will then be displayed in your video, in order to have 3D camera movements, 3D objects, and everything else. In this timeline especially, I would say it wasn't that necessary to have a 3D camera movement because it's just a little zoom in. But for other projects, maybe it can be relevant and it can be very useful. So what I did here was basically, or what the basic 3D node tree basically looks like, is just a renderer 3D, which is just rendering your 2D information into 3D space, or it's rendering your 3D information that you've put into 3D space back to your media out. Then we have our merge 3D, which is just merging all of our 3D image planes together. Our 3D image planes are basically displaying our 2D information in 3D space, so I can show that real quick. If you click on the nodes and just hit 1 on your keyboard and you activate this little button on the top, you can activate the split screen. And as you can see right now, this is what my comps look like. And all of the stuff, or all of the 2D information you're seeing here, are displayed on those image planes 3D. Alright, so, and then you can see here I have my camera. This is the camera. This is the last part that you need in order to like finish your 3D base node tree. So just add a camera 3D. If you have zero idea on how to work in Fusion and with nodes, I would really recommend you to just watch the basic tutorial in the community. But if you don't know how to add nodes or anything, here are the most important nodes on the top bar, and if you want to add special nodes, you can just type shift and spacebar and then type in, for example, camera, image plane 3D, and then just hit add to add those nodes. Alright, so then we have everything set up. If you're wondering why I have a transform 3D in here as well, this is because if you have multiple camera movements, which I currently don't have, but if you have multiple camera movements, it's way better to animate them onto the transform 3D one, because you can blend then multiple animations more smoothly in one another. Because if I then go to, for example, frame 30 and I'm going to say, alright, I want to ease out my animation here and finish my animation here, I can, or the pan left, I want to finish the pan left on frame 30, then I can add another transform and let the second camera movement start before the other camera movement is finished to create a really smooth camera movement. Alright, so that's what this is basically. Next thing I did then was actually creating those little two backgrounds that you can see right here. And what I did here was actually pretty simple. I have just to check what this is. Alright, it's actually pretty simple. So what I did was just first of all adding a background and plugged it into my image plane 3D1, because we always want to create little node trees, and for node trees we always need media in information, and since we don't have a media in, we're just using our background as our media in, and then we can place every other information in between our background and in between our image plane 3D1. You have to make sure that in your background node you go into the inspector, and then you go to the alpha, which is normally set to 1, then everything is black. You don't want that, so you just set it to 0, and then the whole composition gets see-through. Alright, so next thing I did then was just going on to Envato Elements. I can really recommend it. And I searched for this little paper stripe kind of thing, and just downloaded it and plugged it into here. So I have to go back. Into the merge one, you always gotta make sure that you use your merge nodes, but normally they will appear instantly. And next thing I did, or what I did before it, actually I've explained it the wrong way around. So the first thing I did was adding this background node, which you can also just grab from here, or just type in shift space or type in background node. Then I was adding a mask to it to give it the shape that I wanted it to be. So as you can see, I just created, and then a polygon mask to make the mask. So because I wanted to have this shape, so I just went in here, plugged it in, then plugged it into my background one, and then you can just, with your polygon selected, you can just go on the plus and click around, and then this mask will get created. Because I wanted to have exactly this part colored out of my background. Next thing I did then was going to my background and selected the color that I wanted. In this case it was like a darkish red. And next thing I did then was adding a little bit of drop shadow, because as you can see in the final result, this is looking really good because it has a little bit of shadow into it, and this gives it more depth. Because if I would just disable it real quick, you can see this looks really flat and harsh, and so I just added the drop shadow to make it, or to give it a little bit more depth in general. Alright, next thing I did then was going into Envato Elements, and then I was adding my little PNG paper thingy right here, and put it exactly like this, so that it looked in the final output like this. So just very simple. And then the next thing I did was doing everything the exact same way, but just for the bottom one, so that I didn't had to do it twice. I think I also downloaded a different paper rip. Yes, exactly. So normally if you go to Envato Elements, you find asset packs, and so I went just to Envato, went into graphics and searched for paper stripe or something, and then you get 10 or 20 assets in one download, which is very nice. Alright, so then everything of that was done. Lastly, I just added a little bit of vignette, which you can't really see because as you can see the backgrounds are too big to, so that the backgrounds here are too big that you can't really see it. Hello Kaylin, or Kellyanne, hope you're doing well, man. So it wasn't really doing much, so I've added it in the end on my adjustment layers, but I'm going to go over that in the end. Alright, so that was basically the first part, and then I went on with the next one, which was actually just this very big dollar bill. I found a picture of it on the internet, maybe on Envato Elements as well, but I'm not really sure. But there is a very nice website. I actually forgot what the website is called. It's called Removal AI. You can just go on Google and then look for any picture you want from a dollar bill, and if you drag and drop it into this AI, it will instantly detect the background and remove it, so you don't have to jump into Photoshop, and it does it really accurate. So this AI is really good. It's for free. So this is really nice. This fusion setup is crazy. Wish I could do all this one day, bro. To be honest, I think if you really try, you are able to do this in a week. Like, not gonna lie, this is, you just gotta understand the basic concepts of it, and then if you apply everything, then on it becomes really simple. Because what I did here on all of these nodes is basically just a different way of doing all of this. And if you would have been here from the beginning, you would have understand now what this is doing, and then you understand what the rest is doing. But I can go over it for you as well. For the other nodes that are coming up. Alright, so then we have our background, which we've just created here. We have our dollar bill, which I plugged in. I also added a little bit of vignette to it, or actually pretty much vignette to it. You can, if you want that your nodes are getting plugged in instantly to your node tree, you can just click on the media in one and type in shift spacebar and then add the vignette. So you just gotta select your previous node, and then the next node will instantly get connected into your main timeline. Alright, so that was actually it about this PNG, so very, very simple. Then we have our next little subnode tree. For you, Kallian, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but we're working in 3D space right now, so we have our basic 3D setup here. If you don't understand what this is, you can just go into in-depth tutorials in the classroom, and I'm explaining everything there in depth. Alright, so next thing I did then was adding this background, like I did here on the first little subnode tree. And Kallian, for you, I've just explained it. We always need a media in if we want to just create those little subnode trees, because our image plane 3Ds, they are acting like our media outs from our normal Fusion comps, and we need a media in order to have a working media out. In this case, this is the background, which we just add, and then we can go into the inspector, set the alpha to 0 to make it see-through, and then we can add everything on top of it. And in this case, it was just the 1 million. Oh, it's 1,000. All right. All right. Okay. We. All right. We are not going to talk about this. This is crazy. All right. But what I did was just clicking on the background. Then you can type in text, or press Shift Space or type in text or text plus, and then it will instantly get connected with a merge node. So very, very nice. Then it's very, very simple. So you can just click onto your text, type in whatever you want. And then in this case, I made it a little bit gray. So I made it a little bit gray, because if I make it white, it's popping a little bit too much, and I want it to be a little bit subtle, but just give it a better look in general. And then you can play around with the size and the font. Open Sans is just the basic font from DaVinci Resolve. If you want the Apple font, it's called SF Pro Display. Or you can also get Inter, which is pretty similar. Poppins is a good as well, or Impact. All of those are actually pretty good, fonts. Next thing I did then was adding this 1,000 or 1 million dollar number. So what I did was basically just typing in 1,000 comma 00. I used Helvetica Compressed as my font, cranked up the size, and what I did was going to the transform as well, and then was clicking on size, and I was adjusting the y-axis, so to make it like a little bit bigger, a little bit more stretched out, so it fits better on the screen. Kuna, sorry to interrupt, but are we doing all this in free version, or does this require studio version? This is a really good question, because I have zero idea anymore what part of DaVinci Resolve needs studio. I can just look into ChatGPT 4 real quick. I have the studio version of DaVinci Resolve, so I'm not really sure, but we can ask the good old friend ChatGPT. Whoops.
There is a very good question for you, Nick.
Yeah, give me one quick
Kunal.
second.
Okay.
One quick second. All right. Yeah. I'm here.
Okay, just quick question.
Yeah, I
So,
know. I know.
Kunal,
it's studio.
Kunal, yeah, Kunal said, are we doing all this in the
Yeah,
free version?
I already answered this.
Okay, sorry. So I just saw it right now for some
No
reason. I don't know.
No problem. All right. So what I found out is that we have all of the nodes that are displayed here are fully available in the free version of DaVinci Resolve, which is really cool. So yeah, I have the free version, but all of the stuff that I have the paid version, but all of the stuff that I did here right now is actually possible to do in the free version, which is actually very fucking insane because I mean it looks so cool. None of these are studio exclusive, so all of you can do this. No excuses, guys. Damn, what a quick way to check. Yeah, man. ChatGPT Premium is the way to go. This is the best investment that you can make probably right now. In today's world. All right. So next thing I did then was animating this 1000. So what I did was basically just clicking on the text node from the 1000, went back to text, and if you go down, you find this option which is called Write On. So what I did then was going to frame 0, clicked on this little diamond icon, which is a keyframe. I think probably the most of you know already what keyframes are, but if not, I can just really quickly explain it. So you're basically saying to the program, all right, at second 1, I want the pencil right here to be at this position. At frame 2, I want it to be in this position, and then the program is rendering all of the movement which is happening in between of those frames. So that's how you create movements inside of video editing programs, not just in DaVinci Resolve, but this is the same concept for any other video program as well. All right, so in this case we're not animating the movement, but we are animating the counter with this Write On effect. So we hit on this diamond icon on the bottom right corner, and then we are going a couple frames forward around to frame 28. Then we click again and set it to 1. So at the beginning we set it to 0, in the end we set it to 1, and then you will get this build up animation, which is actually really cool. And I just forgot that I animated all of the other stuff as well. And I see that I didn't even use my camera. What a shame. Alright. So I'm just going to explain real quick how I did this animation. But it's really simple, but I want to explain something real quick. So, what I did was basically, what if we want the numbers to be like counting up to 1 million really fast? If you want to do that, then there are expressions that you can do. I don't know the expression from my head because it's a really complex expression, but I can just find it out because I have it written down. Here. Oh, kind of. Oh, yeah, alright. So this is the expression for it. And if you want to use it, you can just add a new node. So text plus, no. Text plus, no. Text plus. And then you can right click in this box and hit expression, and you can paste this expression into here. And I can explain it real quick. So this is basically, it's not really easy to, you can't really animate it. This is a problem with this expression, and this is a problem in DaVinci Resolve in general. There is a way on how to do it, but it's a little bit more complex. I will not cover this today. I just want to share this real quick with you. So you just gotta paste this expression into this box. So you gotta delete this and then paste the expression. The start value, or do you see my screen? Yeah. The start value is 0, so it starts from 0. That's what it means. If you want to start it at 20, you can just replace the 0 with a 20. Then you can replace the end value as well to what it counts up. And then you have your prefix equals prefix and postfix equal postfix. So this is basically just what comes before your numbers and what comes after your numbers. So if you want a dollar sign in front of your numbers, you can just add the prefix and add a dollar sign into the prefix, and then this dollar sign will appear in front of your counting up animation. And the rest of it is a little bit annoying, so just ignore it real quick, but this is how you're using it. Don't you guys use After Effects? Of course I'm using After Effects as well. But right now this is the DaVinci Resolve live call. We have the After Effects live call on Monday, so you can just join there. After Effects has third-party plugins like Automata. Yeah, it does. Automata is really really nice, but it's also really laggy. I don't know if it's just my PC or if it's the plugin in general, but um, yeah, I have zero idea. It's just very laggy for me. And I have a good computer. Hope you have more plugins in future DaVinci. Yeah, I hope that as well. But I think we can think about this really positively because DaVinci Resolve or the community is growing and they are really trying to adjust to the community and bring out new features that the community wants and needs. And there are a couple of cool plugins. So for example, the cool plugin is probably Dream Glow, which is just a very very good glow. So it's basically like deep glow for After Effects, for After Effects, but for free. And we have something similar like Bouncer, or like Flow a little bit more. But I'm going to go over this in another call because it's a little bit more complicated. I think I added a couple of other plugins. So anywhere inside of the chat from DaVinci Resolve in our community, there should be a top 5 or top 10 tier list of DaVinci Resolve plugins. Dreamglow, cool one. I keep a note of it. All right, very nice, very very nice. Because okay, someone is asking a question. I'm already skilled in Premiere Pro and After Effects. I'm considering learning DaVinci Resolve for advanced color grading, sound design, and some motion graphics. Would it be smart move to add Resolve to my workflow, or should I focus on building a strong portfolio with my current tools? So just really depends on your goals. So if you just want to make money with your edits, I think in the moment right now, motion graphics in general is the best way to go. And if you are doing that, I would just stick with After Effects right now, because After Effects is made for animations, it's made for free stuff, it's made for all of this motion graphics thing. And if you really want to make money, I would just deep dive into After Effects, learn everything inside of there, and then make money from it. Best way on is to work with Western people because yeah, they normally pay more money. So that's what I would do probably if you want to just level up your filmmaking skills. What I would do is go to DaVinci Resolve, because DaVinci Resolve has like this super huge, or like so much cool features and so much things which are instantly plugged into DaVinci Resolve, and you don't gotta switch around all of the times. So as you can see, you can make cool motion graphics with DaVinci Resolve. You are able to make insane color gradings. I'm not a color grading pro, to be honest, but we have tutorials inside of this community as well. And the edit page is so much better than Premiere Pro. Oh my god, I hate Premiere Pro so much. After Effects is a really dope program, not gonna lie, but if you want this whole package, I would go with DaVinci Resolve. But what I would say is, or what I would like to say is about the craftsman and not about the tool. So you can achieve any effects or everything with both of the programs, and you don't need to switch. So if maybe if you want to be like a high level top tier colorist, so then you can consider it, but otherwise I think it's not really important. And colorization will be replaced by AI very very quick. I'm very sure about that. So color grading in the future, with AI will be so fucking easy. I'm so sure about that. I think motion graphics will take a little bit longer to get replaced. Alright, so let's just keep going real quick because I didn't explain my animation. Alright, so I made the animation on immersion nodes. Usually I would recommend to do animation on transform nodes, but right now we are just going to continue with the immersion nodes. So you can go to frame 0, click on center X and Y, hit a keyframe node, go 37 frames forward, hit another keyframe node, and then you can adjust the position in between this. So in the end, I want it to be in this position, and in the beginning, I just squeezed it a little bit together. so that it looks like this, so that it's opening. And right now you can see this is a really smooth movement. And how I did this was just clicking on this little spline icon on the top right corner. And then you can take your merge node, drag and drop it into your spline, and just click on this little icon to make it big. And usually this is, if you just press S, if you highlight it and press S, it looks like this. Usually it looks like this. If you press it and just click S, it looks like this. And most of the people just then go away. They've hit S, and then they think, all right, now everything's smooth. But you gotta drag these hangers out so fucking much if you want to make it like insanely smooth, and that's why we are here for. So that's what I would really recommend you guys to do. So much fun, so gave me so much clarity. Thanks, brother. All right, Syed. Thank you. I didn't read your message at first. Sounds good. I was able to help you, man. All right. This was how I did the bottom part. And another thing is, what I see a lot of beginners do is make the keyframes too short. So they make keyframes from 0 to 15, and then they think, all right, this is a long animation, this is good, because they can't really wait, and when they think of the animations in their head, they are only thinking about the fast part, which is in the beginning. So they think, right here, the animation is over. But what really matters are these seconds afterwards, when it's moving like very slowly, because that is giving it this really smooth feeling. And I would really recommend all of you guys to just make your keyframes a lot longer and then just drag out the curve a lot. This is really a tip which helped me to make my animation go from looking very cheap to go high level and much quality. Alright, so next thing I did then was doing the exactly same thing that I did for the bottom one, for the top one, with the other merge node. So basically that's just the same thing. And then I went to my dollar bill. So how I animated this was just going to my image plane, and then I went to transform, and then you can see those different values. The x-axis to move it from left to right, y bottom to top, and z from the front to the back. So I'm just going to redo all of that, alright? And as you can see right now, I wanted to move it in. Actually, it would have looked so much cooler if I would have just animated the camera. I have zero idea why I wasn't doing this. Probably because I didn't have so much time. But usually I would recommend you to do this. You can do this on the exact same way as we are doing this with the image plane right now. Alright, so you can just click on your image plane 3D, go into the inspector, transform, go in the beginning of your frame, keyframe the ZX, go a lot of keyframes forward, click on the keyframe as well, and then just drag it to the point where you want your animation to finish. So in this case, this is this one. And yeah, then you have this animation. Like I said before, just go in the spline really quick, take your image plane, drag it in, click on this icon, and then drag these handles the fuck out. It's like, this is like so important. Okay, Kellyanne has a quick question. Sorry, I didn't read it. Hey Nick, After Effects camera has something called focus distance and aperture. How much is different is DaVinci for achieving that? It's possible. In the moment, I gotta be 100% honest with you. I did look over it for a long time, because if I do 3D animations, I'm usually going to After Effects, because they've added a lot of cool new features with lighting and everything. But I know that you can go to your renderer 3D, and then you can select a lot of things to achieve this effect. So you just probably gotta look it up really quick, because in the moment I don't know it, but there is 100% a way to achieve the same thing. I'm really sure, but it's very GPU draining. I can remember that, but I wasn't doing it for a long time right now. What do you use for getting inspiration for reels and documentary style editing? So what I would really recommend all of you guys to do is get a Pinterest account, and then I can just pull it up real quick. So this is the secret sauce. If you, for example, let's say you want UI Apple animations, then you just go to Pinterest, type in Apple UI Apple, and then you get all of these cool inspirations. So you can do a lot of things with this. You can do a lot of things with this. You could do a lot of things with this highlighting thing. This looks very dope. You can do a lot of stuff with this, with this, with this. So you get so much fucking inspiration for. Oh, I'm using the word fucking too much. I'm very sorry, guys. This is not right. But you get so much inspiration from Pinterest. And I'd say this is the secret sauce. This is really the secret sauce. Other thing you can do, and then you just gotta click on them and hit. So this in German right now, but this is remember. So just hit this, and then you can also. Okay, so this is my inspiration board right now. A lot of cool stuff. It really depends. You can see that where I've changed the projects. So this is this different project. This is a different project. This is a different project. But you can really see it here, and then you can make inspiration boards for them. Other thing that you can do is you can go to Instagram, and then you can create new collections for your savings, and every time you see something cool, you can add it to one of your collections. And I think this is one of the best tips. Damn, this greatest Apple logo would be so difficult in the issues of Fusion, I guess. I can't really remember what I've shown. Sorry. But let's just keep going with the tutorial real quick. Okay, so right now we have this thing from the back going into the front. We have those things animating. So lastly, and we have the text. Lastly, we just need the dollar bills, and this is really simple as well. So what I did was basically just going to the internet. Then I made a cutout of a dollar bill, plugged it into DaVinci Resolve, into a little subnode tree. I've added a color corrector, and with the color corrector you can basically just adjust the color. So makes sense, I think. But right now, okay. So what I did was basically just making the brightness go down a little bit, because as you can see, it's very bright, and normally this would pull pull the focus away from our main subject, and we always want to play around with focus. We are like focus magicians, guys. We want the attention from the viewer on the things that we want them to see, and in this case it's not the dollar bill. This is just for the cool look. So what I just did was just adding a color corrector, same thing as I added all of the other stuff. So shift spacebar, color corrector. Then I've added it, and yep, then we had those little cool dollar signs. Next thing I did then was going into the transform. Then I went to the center X and Y X, keyframed in the beginning, went around 46 frames forwards, hit the next keyframe button, and then I was just moving them from the points where I wanted them to be, and just moved them in into a cool way. And then I did the exactly same thing. So I just took transform, put it into my spline node, clicked on this icon, and then I dragged out these curves. Drag out these curves, guys. Drag them out. Really important. And what I did then was basically just copy and pasting all of those little subnode trees. Oh yeah, all of the, I don't know if you can really say that, but all of this information, all of this data blocks, I just copied them and then adjusted the keyframes, so where they should start and where they should end, to achieve this kind of effect. And then we basically have this. For all of you guys that are really new to DaVinci Resolve, if you get playback problems, there are a couple of things that you can do. You can just go to playback, go to time and proxy resolution, and then set it to quarter. So this will basically just reduce. For example, if you work with 1,000 pixels, which would make 0 sense, but if you would work with 1,000 pixels, 1,000 times 1,000, you would then work with 250 times 250, and when you render it, it will get put back in the original resolution. So you can just work with a lower resolution, and then it will get upscaled in the end to the normal resolution. Then we have the render cage. If something is really laggy, I would really recommend to set it on smart, because then it's pre-rendering all of the stuff, so that you can make it or that you can play back it really smoothly. Alright. The tutorials and the live recordings that you have provided to know that enough to create good reads with motion graphics and animations. I would even say if you just would watch this, what I did today, right now, and then you watch maybe the video about all of the different kind of nodes that are existing inside of DaVinci Resolve, I would say yes, because you can't really. What I would do is learn everything and then try to apply it. I've learned After Effects in around 1 month, and I was only able to do this, and I can show you what I'm doing right now to give you proof that I've really learned it. What did I want to say? I forgot what I wanted to say. The tutorials and live records. Yeah. So I was only able to learn After Effects that fast because I was instantly applying the stuff that I've learned in a creative way. So I wasn't just recreating all of this stuff. I was taking the information I've learned how the program really works, and then I was just applying this on my projects, and then I did a lot of volume, so I did a lot of projects in a very short time, and then you will just find out the tweaks. You will never be able to learn everything, and I mean, I'm not a god. I don't know everything about DaVinci Resolve. I don't know how to do every effect that is possible inside of Fusion, but I know the basics really, really good, and based on that, I can do cool motion graphics. So, yeah, you can do it with my tutorials that are online. You can do it even with less. You could even do it with one tutorial. Tutorials are always just helping you, but it's
The point at the end of the day is just applying what you have learned.
yes, this is so important. Applying what you've learned. It's the same as if you're going to learn math in school, for example. You can like read the calculations that your teacher did 100 times, but if you don't really apply it on your own work, you didn't really learn anything in the end. And the faster you apply the stuff that you've learned, you can create or you can mm, get the solutions for more difficult tasks. So in this case, this would be a whole reel in your own style or a whole reel animated in this kind of style. So if I'm breaking the flow, would it be possible to make those double bits like flapping some displacement kind of? It's not necessary, but I feel it adds a realistic touch. There is a way. So we have a 3D Bender node, for example. What you would need then is just taking them and get for all of them a different image plane. And you can add a Bender node. Yes. Oh, I can't really see because it's so bright. My screen is so bright because the sun is right there. And then, as you can see, you can just tweak them around with the values. Right now, they are just sticking into the background. That's why they are looking so glitchy. So you just gotta pull them up a little bit more. You need to learn After Effects as well, but you are able to do this with this Bender 3D. Do I need to learn After Effects as well? For motion graphics, no. You can't just stick with DaVinci. You can learn After Effects. I mean, it will help probably, and in the end, it's a program that most of the people are using for motion graphics. But you can just use one program. Like I said, it's about the craftsman. It's not about the tool. So you can do everything in DaVinci. You can do everything in After Effects. It really doesn't matter. I would recommend the studio version then of DaVinci Resolve though. Right. So just here's the improvement that I am also able to do stuff inside of here. This is something I did, for example, in After Effects right now. So And this is the thing, if you've learned one program, because learning DaVinci helped me so much with learning After Effects, so this is very laggy right now, but it helped me so much with learning After Effects because if you understand the basic ones in one program, you can instantly apply it to other programs. So I would just stick to one program now and then just try to implement all of this stuff in different projects.
And also it will make it easier to learn other softwares later down the road if you want to learn, right?
Yes, exactly.
Just like what happened to you.
Okay, Idrani, oh, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce your name correctly. The codes will be uploaded, and I think this tutorial is already uploaded. A little bit. I don't know if it's faster or slower. I think this time we got really in depth. Um, but yeah, I really try to find a way to not make it too slow that everybody who knows the basics is getting bored, but to also not make it too fast that nobody can keep up. But I'm sorry if this was a little bit too fast for today. Um, yeah, but if you understand the project, the program, once you can see this node tree, you can see the scene, and then you will instantly know what I did here with a little bit of explanation. So um, yeah, just learn the basics of the program, and then you will be able to do a lot of cool stuff. Alright, so that was how we did this animation, and then we can go back into the edit tab because like I said, I spiced the animation up a little bit with a couple of effects. So for this you need the studio version because I added a halation and I know that this is only possible instead of the studio version, but I mean it's not really necessary. So what I did was basically just going to the effects tool as well. So I did this by going to effects, clicking on effects on the top left corner, going to the bottom, go to effects, and then you can just search or click on this magnifying glass again and type in adjustment clip. Then it will be here and you can drag it into your timeline over your Fusion composition. And these adjustment layers are basically like, it's basically like like a plate of glass in front of your information, in front of a picture, and then you can put a lot of cool effects on this plate of glass, and then it looks like it's inside of everything which is under it, but it's actually just a layer on top, so I can just disable it and you can see everything went away. Alright, what I did was adding first of all a vignette effect, so all of the effects that I'm explaining right now, you can find them in the Open Effects tab, and then you can just search them in the search bar. First one is the vignette, which is making it a little bit more dramatic by centering the focus on the middle with the little darker parts on the edge. And then you can also play around with these values. Next thing I did then was adding a halation effect, which is just making everything a little bit more glowy, and you can see it with the text as well. It gets a little bit better texture and a little bit of this cool gloom, which I like. And these are the settings that I've used, so you can play around with these, try out what works the best for you. So you can play with the strength, with the saturation, threshold, and so on. Next thing I did then was adding lens reflections, but this wasn't looking really good, so I disabled it, and right now I'm going to delete it. Next thing I did then was adding scan lines, and you don't really notice them in the beginning. Oh wait, why do I have scan lines even though I disabled it? Because of the analog damage. Alright, so we're going to delete the scan lines as well. Then I add an analog damage effect as well to give it a little bit more this documentary style kind of feel. And then I've added this 90s preset, which I think is really cool. So you can choose between a lot of cool effects, but I think this looks really dope, really smooth. And yeah, guys, this is how I did this animation. Ah shit, it wasn't pre-rendered. How I did this animation. Alright, choose a program, master it as the requirement grows, flexibility used in other software will be helpful, notes are much cooler than layers, stuff to mention if you did go deep into a adjustment clip really spiced up. Thank you bro, thank you very much. Yeah, Kellyanne is exactly right. So you can start with whatever you want. I also prefer to work with nodes. In the moment, I'm working more with After Effects because you can just do a little bit of more stuff with it, and it has a little bit better third-party plugins. So if I work for clients and commercially, I'm always doing that. But I really hate that I don't have a layer system because layers are so much more organized and just better in general. I like the overview from DaVinci so much more than After Effects. Looking forward for your breakdown on After Effects file you have shown before. Yeah, true. This I can do this in the future maybe, but in the moment Lucas is hosting the tutorials. Yeah, but this is the After Effects thing I'm doing right now. I think it is really cool. All right. Thank you so much for being here today, guys. I hope I was able to help you in a way. If you have any questions, you can just drop them down real quick in the chat. Otherwise, I would finish this call right now. One silly question. Aladdin, is your clock not working? Aladdin?
Come again?
Kunal has a question. He's asking if your clock is not working because the hands aren't moving.
No. I'm just like, I'm like focused and at the same time trying to do something else next to it as well while I'm listening.
Alright.
Answer the
Really good.
question.
Thank you, Nick and Aladdin. Good observation. Alright.
Oh, this clock.
Yeah, this clock.
It's actually, it's not moving, yeah, bro. Sorry.
Alright.
I heard the hands.
Yeah, no problem. I think it's.
Uh,
I have to. I didn't okay, bro. Alright.
You're welcome, Kalyan.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I hope you had a really good time, and hope to see you in the next editions of Call. It was really nice with you. Goodbye, guys.
See you guys.